Is now Congressman Louie Gohmert, Republican from Texas. Congressman, welcome back. Good to see you again, sir.
Great. Not only great talking to you, great following my friend Monica Crowley.
Right. Now, you're also following President Obama, who made a taped statement after meeting with the security advisors. And I'm sure you saw it. He said this is a possible terrorist-related, possible workplace-related. We don't know. We're going to get the facts before we make a judgment. And at the end of his statement, he was talking about limiting access to this kind of weapon. Essentially, he was talking gun control. What do you make of the president's statement?
Well, he was saying basically the same thing yesterday, and that just galls me to no end. While people were being killed in San Bernardino, the president's out there pushing his gun control agenda, when the fact is he, by his own actions, has left our borders porous. We have people pouring into the United States illegally. We know that refugees, at least 12 this year, have been named as terrorists that were approved under this refugee program, given asylum, given citizenship, and then they turned out to be terrorists. We know that under some of the people that came from Iraq that were vetted with, where we had fingerprints, we had access to their criminal data. Turns out a couple were in Kentucky that were approved as refugees who were terrorists and had to be exported. So we know this president has allowed terrorists to come into our country, and then to say, in effect, what this does, Stuart, his policies allow people, terrorists, to come into our country, and then, like he said yesterday, why these people can't fly on their airplanes, they're on a no-fly list, but they can go into any store and buy a gun. He has the gall to allow this country to be infused with terrorists, and then says, look, I've got all these terrorists among you, and we can't let them buy guns, so you're going to have to give up your Second Amendment rights. No. How about instead, if the president does his job to protect Americans from all enemies, foreign and domestic, get his head out of the hole or wherever it is, and acknowledge that radical Islam is a problem. Okay. Al-Baghdadi has a PhD in Islam, and he says it is Islam.
I've got to jump in for a second, because the other side of the coin, what seems to be happening is the proliferation of guns throughout our society, because we want to defend ourselves. We've had ideas of putting armed former police officers inside football stadiums, armed police officers in and around schools. Does that worry you to some degree, the proliferation of guns all over our civil society? Any pause for concern on that?
No, because the areas where these attacks normally happen are in areas where guns are under greatest control. Whether it's in a school where nobody was allowed to have guns, if the principal had had a gun, she could have killed the terrorist there that came in instead of just running at him with empty hands and being killed. In a theater with mass shootings, it's in a theater he passes by many that allows concealed carry, but not in the theater he went to. There was an article a year or two ago about how the psychology of people like this, they want to be in control, and if they think that things under their control, they'll go somewhere where they can. So the problem is not proliferation. The problem is more gun control so that only the outlaws have guns.
Louie Gohmert, Republican, Texas, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thanks, Stuart.